It's the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. What's good, what's good? Let's get ready to go.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. Plug in, turn it up. Let's go. Hey, hey. Welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. Push play, let it roll. Let's go. What's good? Welcome to my show. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. This podcast is all about exploring a wide range of topics that spark curiosity, build community, inspire action, and deepen our understanding of the world around us. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe now on whatever platform you are seeing or hearing this by smashing the follow or subscribe button. Music has the power to inspire, heal, unite, and transform culture. In Season 4, we're diving into the world of music and the people bold enough to shape creative dreams. Whether they're on the stage, behind the scenes, or in the boardroom, these guests are building culture, creating impact, and showing us what it means to turn passion into purpose. Today's guest has touched many facets of the music industry, from working at a record store to music promotions at Capitol Records, promotions and programming at radio stations in Atlanta, deep roots with Organized Noize and the Dungeon family, and owner of Murray Media Production Partners, and so much more. Welcome to the show, Dee Dee Murray.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for having me today.
I know I left a lot of stuff out, and we'll probably get into more and fill in some of those gaps. But you've had a really amazing career in music and entertainment. For many people, this is their dream field of work. So can you tell me, how did you even get started in the music business?
And so I got started in the music business was in high school. Okay. Uncle Sparkell, who is a songwriter, he was on Soul Train. How about that?
Wow.
But in high school, we had these dance groups. Would go to all the different talent shows and turn them out. My uncle's dance group was called Black Fire, and I was their manager.
Oh, wow. In high school.
So it was my Yes, I was 16 years old. So it was my responsibility to make sure that all 4 of the members of the group knew what they were wearing for each show, where each show was. I supervised was in my backyard. Things. So I took that job very seriously. Yeah. My uncle was a star. He's a star. He's a star to this day. He lives in LA. He's a songwriter. And the launching pad that opened up Pandora's box for me, because I just wanted to do more and more. My uncle also worked at a record store, and he got me my first job at Turtles Records and Tapes. In the record store was everything. Everything happened there. It was our social center. We got for our tickets, prints, just little things happened at the record store. So that's where I got my passion. And when I went to college, transferred me to the store in Savannah, Georgia. So I had a job at Turtles when I went to college, which was really, really cool. And, I love types of music. One of my favorite albums was the Mannheim Steamroller Christmas album.
Okay. There's nothing like it. It's complex and beautiful.
It's amazing. So that's where I really expanded my passion for music, all types of music, classical, hip hop, reggae, anything, you name it. We need the professional of it. So I took that seriously. And that was the launching pad for my career. It took me all the way to where I am right now, because back in those days, we didn't have music business programs like we have today. Yeah. To really navigate our way naturally, letting our passions lead the way. And that's how I would really say that I got my start in this business, was introduction from my uncle and allowing my passion and the universe to just lead me into what it was I was supposed to be doing.
That I can't even imagine. You're a teenager in high school and your uncle's like, can you manage our group? What are the qualifications for a teenager and him to say, you're the one. You're not a grown adult somewhere, someone that's already in the business, but my niece. You're gonna manage us. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, we did, and that's how it worked out.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so fast forward, post college, was Capitol Records next?
Oh, so let's roll back to college because I got my first professional job in the industry before I graduated from college.
Okay. That doesn't happen.
So that doesn't happen. So let me tell you how that happened, because it can happen for anyone out here. And you have to take it there because it was my desire and my passion for music and radio.
Okay.
Got me my first job. So what I did was, as a sophomore in college, was I worked at WHCJ, which was Savannah State College's jazz radio station. And it lunchtime jazz from 12 to 2.
All right.
Everybody else was hanging on the yard. I was in the studio and myself live on the radio. I was live.
Nice. Okay.
Lunchtime jazz.
Yeah.
And I played stuff like Earl Klugh, John LuPonte, Whole Train, all types of wonderful jazz music, contemporary jazz, George Benson, just real light jazz music. It was fun. So I got into my actual courses, my broadcasting courses. I had the desire. I had a group of friends. We were called the Buffer Crew.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's just what it was. Yep.
Anyway, that's what it was. He went to the local radio station, WEAS in Savannah, Georgia, E93, still broadcasting today, and proposed a show. We said, we are at Savannah State, we're broadcasting students, and there is nothing that this radio station is doing to connect the college community with what is happening on this radio station. So we want to change that and create a show on Saturdays from, I think we were on from 10 to 1, called the Savannah State Spotlight.
Wow.
Again, in the late 1900s. So calling into the radio station was a whole thing.
It was.
So
people would not understand. These kids today have no idea. And it was always busy, Dee Dee. Every time you called, it was busy, and you just kept calling back hoping to get through.
You couldn't get through. You couldn't get through. You had to dial over and over and over again until the one time the phone rang and you were like...
Yeah, you're surprised. You don't even know what to say if they answer because you just don't expect them to answer.
Like, I got through. So we knew that we as students had a platform on that radio station. We announcements for current events. We had dedications. You wanted to call in and dedicate a song to the girl you love or the boy that you're digging on. We did all of that. You know, we come in and we had people that would just talk about concerns on the campus, like, you know, just anything, like something wrong at their dorm or just any concern that a student had. We had time to go back and forth and create this connection with the commercial radio station. And this went on my sophomore year, my junior year, and my senior year. So 3 years we did this for free. I don't care what we did Friday night. There were times when we partied so hard that we could not find our way, but we made it to that radio station at 9:30 to prep for our show. We were there.
Straight from the party to the radio station, stumbling in.
One time I lost my car. I couldn't find the vehicle.
But you found your way to that radio station.
I found my way to E93 at 9:30 in the morning.
Wow.
So once they saw that consistency and dedication and, you know, I was really spearheading this thing. I was the one that came up with the idea, pulled the crew together. They bought in and we just went for it. For me a job. They offered me a job as the news director of the radio station my senior year in college.
That's great.
So when I walked across that stage, I already had a job. So that was it. So I was the news director at E93 for maybe 2 years before I came back to Atlanta to pursue my passion in the radio here at B103.
Yeah, I love that story because you recognized the need and you went after it. It's like the worst they could do is say no, but it's something.
Yeah, what are they going
Right, but it's out of the box thinking. There wasn't necessarily a blueprint to do it. It's just like, hey, let's see what can happen. And something tells me that's a common theme that we'll find through your career. Let's fast forward a little bit here. I want to get into Dungeon Family. So tell me how you
Okay.
connected. How did that all come about with your role with the Dungeon family?
So that connects me back to a couple of things. At Capitol Records.
Okay.
I worked at Capitol Records in the 9 and 92, like out with 90. I don't know. It was the last job that I had before I started working with Organized
Okay.
Noize. And there's a guy named Ian Burke. I don't know. Some people know him, some people
Yeah.
don't. But he brought Sleepy Brown to my office
Okay.
at Capitol Records to meet me.
Wow.
And Sleepy Brown's daddy is a man named Jimmy Brown in the Brick. Boss at Capitol Records, his name is Keith Fry, rest his soul, we love him. He used to work for Bang Records and was the premier promoter for Brick.
Okay. Okay.
So know any of that until Pat came to my office and introduced us all. And we got to talking, and you know, what he just knew that this was my son. And he was like, yeah, promote your daddy records and stuff. Like, we do this. But that's how we became friends initially. And then Hammer came out with the pumps in the video. He was in some Speedos.
Yes.
I call them the
I do remember that video. It's an image I wish I could get out of my mind. I know. It's the pool party and the whole too much. It was too much.
The dots was just anyway. Capitol poured a whole bunch of money into that project.
And you were with Capitol at that time, you said, right? Okay.
I was at Capitol at that time, and that was when I was doing Freddie Jackson, the Whispers, the Gap Band, Full Force, Melba Moore, really promoting all of these records. At music division of Capitol Records was shut down. We all lost our jobs. There was no more black music division of Capitol Records. They just rolled it into music, which was, the beginning.
That's crazy.
For me.
Yeah.
Because once I lost job at Capitol, got laid off, I had nothing to do. And I, went to California to go look for jobs there. And, I became an honorary Crip. Not too many people know about that, but yes, I was little mama of the West Boulevard Crip. For about a
week. You were a Crip for a week. Okay. And then you're like, this is not the life for me. I'm out.
Like, I don't think I'm cut out with this. I'm going to go back home and just be a Georgia Peach.
Oh, my gosh.
But I learned, like, all of the gang terminology, and I learned what crossing somebody out meant. Just other things, like...
This girl from the South, you had no business there. Come on, Dee Dee.
It was fun. I was in my 20s. YOLO, you only live
once.
once.
That's it. You got to dip and dabble and figure out what works and what doesn't.
Exactly. So once I had that experience and came back to Atlanta and knew that was no life for me, I started going to the dungeon every day like it was my job. Like I had a big old IBM laptop computer that was probably this thick, this big. And then I had the printer that goes with it that had the little dots on the side. And you
dot
could
matrix.
Print and pull.
Yes. You got all that at the dungeon.
Back the dungeon. I pulled my stuff out with my child. And began working. Didn't know what I was doing, It just happened. I just began to organize the noise.
Wow.
So it was my initial introduction to the dungeon from Ian Burke.
And coincidentally, Ian is on this podcast this season as well. So be patching some stories together. So I'm glad y'all had the shout out there. So for you as a dungeon, every time I hear stories about the dungeon, you always hear about the dirt floor in the basement, the stairs going down to the basement, but you don't hear a lot about your role. So tell me from your eyes, what was it like to be in the dungeon while all this music was being created?
Wow. So I was a lot of times the only girl, baby, dungeon. And what was like for me was very inspirational. I was the oldest too. So I was 26 or 27. Big and Dre were like 16, 17. Rico might have been 20. Ray 23, maybe like 21 or something. But I was the quote unquote responsible adult. It's my responsibility to make sure they got where they were going.
Okay.
You know, we booking appointments for them, like press, like I arranged the very first interviews and press, like the first front page article that talked about OutKast, that featured OutKast. I set that up. And that was with a group of a production called Tafresia Magazine. I don't know if many people know about Tafresia back in the day, but there's a lady named Rhonda Baraka, is a filmmaker now, and her husband, rest in peace, Tony Baraka. They ran the magazine, and it was one of the prominent local entertainment magazines in Atlanta, in the Southeast, actually. And they featured OutKast on their first cover. They did their first article on them, and it was on the strength of Rhonda being my friend.
That's great.
You know, she didn't care.
Yeah, she's all right if you say so.
Nobody really knew them, but yeah, she was like, "Oh, I'm like, these gonna be the next hot things coming out of Atlanta. You might want to get on it now." And she was like, "Okay, let's do it." So yeah, we did it.
And how wild is it to say the next hottest thing coming out of Atlanta? There's no way ever that you could have predicted that they would be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame years later.
Selling a dream, okay? I was selling a dream like it was for real, not knowing that, you know, all of these years later, we would have that moment, and they are the biggest thing out. You know, realize like when I was in the dungeon with them, you know, set out to best at anything, you know, we just were to get something out. Like there would get that music up out that dungeon. That's the goal. Like the music was special. The beats were incredible. There was just a feeling, and it fueled everyone to be their best, to do their best, to look for opportunities, and to create this community. And I saw these young guys that had nothing but talent, and I was absolutely drawn. Like I drank the dungeon Kool-Aid, like for real. And I never left. I never left. I didn't know what I was doing, you know, but we just did it step by step, from some lyrics to the label, to creating the album covers, to preparing the guys to do their photo shoots, to driving to shows. Their very first shows, we rented vans, packed in it. We would sleep in 2 hotel rooms and just
pile
people
in
on the floor, people in the corners. Yes. And I never unsafe. I want to say, like, 6-year-old woman with a child, with a 2-year-old child, or at home. Those were my protectors of family. And baby slept on the floor with them at times. You know, my own little blanket, and it was okay. It was okay.
And it's something special about not just the bond of musicians when you're creating, but even in the studio, when there's music being created and there's different players there and you're experiencing it together, like you're experiencing a moment, and there's some kind of tie. Like when I'm in the studio with artists and I'm there as music is being created, I'm like, you feel such a connection to the music, the sound, the people in the room, and to be able to experience that month after month, year after year, because even when they left the dungeon, you're still a part of it. There's almost no better feeling in the world but that connection and just being around creative people. And yes, there's business going on outside the doors, and the business part of the industry sucks, but the music part is just this beautiful, separate, almost imaginary world, but it's real when you're there.
And the sense of community, you know, we really know important and the meaning of community at the time, but it was just natural. It was automatic. It was effortless, the way that we all just melted together and became one unit.
So let me ask you this. We've been talking with Dee Dee, but let's talk about Peaches. That very first introduction to the world. You put on Southernplayalistic Cadillac Music. You have this grimy, soulful sample from Soft Machine, as if the environment is set. It's smoky, it's grooving, and then your voice comes on and you welcome really the world to this brand new sonic sound that's about to take hip-hop by storm. I want to know that session for you, like when they're like, hey, we want you to do the intro. How did that feel, and what was that session like for you to be like, okay, let's record it, let it happen? I love these kinds of stories of what happened in the studio. You want to know what happened? Yeah.
Well, I had the flu.
And you're like, I can't do it. Get someone else.
I was sick as a dog.
Oh, wow.
That's And that's why my voice was as heavy as it was, because I was hoarse from being sick. And, COVID the thing, and didn't nobody care, my running, I didn't feel good. But they was like, we need you in this studio to and I'm like, okay. So I got down to the studio. We were all in the C room of Bosstown at the time. So the C room is the very smallest room in that whole studio complex. It is a writing room. It's has a small board, each chairs, and a sound booth. And there was the engineer, John Merritt, is affectionately known as Captain Cracker. And yes, 15 guys squeezed in this little room and me in the booth. And Big Rube was the one that kind of that laid out what he needed to say. And I just went by what he said and just freestyled the rest.
Yeah.
So the sequencing session for Southernplayalistic. And if anybody knows about sequencing, this is the session where you take all the records, put them in an order. I would feel. So I had gone through maybe 10 different sequences of that album, where it's just to get the feel. And once we got that last sequence, remember this like it was yesterday, we were speechless. Nobody could say anything. We were just like, absolutely it. Just the way that each record felt and going behind each other, time. And, people wasn't anything that was haphazard or anything that was very, very intentionally done to make it feel like a movie.
Yeah. I can tell you, as a teenager in Oklahoma at the time, when that album dropped and pushing play and first hearing it, I was like, wow, this is different. The feel was different. You could feel the energy, the soul, the sincerity of it. It was just a masterpiece of an album. And the sequence does matter, and the way the whole album flow was amazing.
And then when Crumbling Herb came on, and you're just like, let me stick it to your brain.
Right.
It was just something
else.
So I can still feel that right now. Like that impactful that moment was for us. And not just me, but for us.
Yeah.
And you can ask any of those guys about this particular session, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
An experience that, it was... I have no words.
You just went back there for a minute. I could see you just mentally and physically, you were back there in that moment for a minute. I love seeing
I had to go back.
All right, so I have to ask. There's a whole catalog here, but do you have a favorite OutKast song?
And I do. It's hard, but I do.
Okay.
And I would say that song is mainstream.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, mainstream, if you listen to it, you have all of the guys on it. Goody Mob, OutKast. That's because it was supposed to be a good song. And then my second favorite song is Thought Process, Soul Food album. And yes, you said OutKast song, but I'm saying Thought Process, which is a Goody Mob song, which should have been an OutKast song.
Yeah.
So those two songs, in my opinion, are two of the most powerful OutKast and Dungeon Family songs. And if you look at, I know I'm kind of going there to a little bit.
Let's go.
But Goody Mob, actually, the Soul Food album is the first Dungeon Family album.
Wow.
Think about it. Think about that Soul Food album.
Yeah, with all the features, it really is. You got pretty much everybody on there. So I never thought about it. Interesting. So
Cujo will tell you that too.
Okay.
They'll tell you that.
Okay. No, that's actually really, I'm going to have to go back and listen to it from that lens, and not a Goody Mob album, but a Dungeon Family album.
Dungeon Family
you had
album.
Cool Breeze on there.
I
think Backbone, Witch Doctor.
You got so much stuff.
Big Rube, of course.
All of them.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. We're going to move from this here in a minute, but I want to ask, and this can be either Dungeon Family or otherwise, but I'm sure you've been in many studio sessions in your career. Is there one particular studio session that you were just blown away by the music that was being created, like musically or lyrically?
And I will tell you specifically the whole story behind it. OutKast first started producing an Elevate album, AT Aliens album, came to me CD, and he asked me if he could sit with me privately to listen to some of his beat because he didn't want nobody else. Me and Dre are very close to this day, like for real. So he was like, "Can you come listen to some of my beats for me? You know, please." And I said, "Yeah." So we went up in Ray's bedroom, and me and him sat down there. Ray had a little sitting area in there with some leather chairs and some music stuff. So we sat down there and listened. And I'm like, okay, these are good. These are really good. And then there was this one beat that I called it the Beach Boys beat. I'm like, play that back. And I'm like, that Beach Boys sounded song back. I said, I like that, Dre. And he was like, you like this one right here? And I said, I really like that. So we listened to it a couple of times, just back to back. I was like, nah, Dre, that's it. So much time went by, but they called me to the studio. I got a call, and they was like, we want you to come down here and listen to it. And I said, okay. So I walked in the studio, and they hit play, and I heard it, and I began to cry. Because it was so incredible.
Yeah.
It blew me away to hear what they came up with and created out of that scratch beat. And I want you to guess what song it was.
Beach Boys beats.
Boys sound.
I know. I'm trying to think of what that would be because they started producing. Was it Stankonia when they started doing theirs?
No, they started producing. And you and your mama too.
So it was because it was Earth Tone 3, right? Earth Tone. Okay.
I'll help you.
Okay, give me a clue.
I'm gonna give you what it sounds like. Touched by the wheels of steel.
Oh God, yeah. Oh man, that was
So tell me how you feel.
Yes.
When I heard, I just started crying. I'm like,
that was.
And when KP came in with
the
those
scratching
it out at the end.
So that was KP scratching. See, I thought it was Mr. DJ scratching. That was KP. Okay.
No, that was KP on them scratches right there. On the recording. That's KP.
Wow.
I bawled like a baby. I could not get it together. I was so proud of them.
No, that was a great, and it had to be something for them to step out of the production shadow of Organized Noize because Organized had such an amazing. The stakes are high, the pressure is high. You have this amazing collective, and I know Organized was still involved with oversight and everything like that, but for them to do that and it sounded amazing. That's great. Thank you for sharing that story because I love stories like that because we see the finished product, but I'm always interested what's happening behind the scenes. And because you were in a lot of those sessions, like what was it like for you? This is a side question. I love Society of Soul's first album. Why didn't we get another one?
Because that album there was just one.
Yeah.
You know, I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
I just know that for where we were that time, it's what was needed.
Yeah.
The album was so groundbreaking and so just sonically just so blue that there was no coming back after that. Sleepy was doing Sleepy's Room at that time, so he had another project going on. And then Rico, Pat, and Ray at that time were in high demand as producers.
Yeah.
There wasn't time, there wasn't room for another Society of Soul album.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At all. I mean, that there could be, but it was just what it was for that time and that period, and it's so special. My favorite song off of that album is Brainchild. So cold, there is no third.
Yeah.
I'm so free, I'm trying to be me.
See, I like
I can be.
Peaches and Herb and Embrace are my songs. It was such a good album, though.
Okay.
It was such a good album because you heard like the sound that we were introduced to through like OutKast and Goody Mob. They flipped it and just instead of a rap album, made a soul album, and it was flawless.
Oh, it was flawless. Well, the shout out. I have Rico's nephew EJ, little nephew too. Brainchild. He's the one that says, "I just want to learn something."
Oh yeah. Wow.
So shout out EJ, my baby EJ.
Nice. Well, let's shift because this is one piece of your career. And I feel like we could have like hours of just going through your whole career. You've reinvented yourself several times in the music business over the years. How would you describe your career overall?
Career was a flow.
Okay.
It's her too cold. Job that I ever sought. Job that sought me, or opportunity that sought me, was where I saw my success. There was a series of phone calls. I had to answer the phone. When I became the general manager of Purple Ribbon, Big Boy's label, I got a call one day, big, like, what you know? I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm doing what I do.
Yeah.
He was like, well, I need a wide receiver to throw the ball to. So it run it. And I said,
Okay.
We had done a charity football game before, me and the guys, and I actually, ran touchdown. So I'm like, okay, we're doing another football game. Like, what we doing? He was like, no, I want you to be the general manager of my label. And I said, okay. So it was always things like that. It was always a series of phone calls. When came the executive director of T.I.'s King Foundation, it was a phone call. What you doing? Like, I had just gotten a divorce at that time, and I was trying to really get myself together and figure out where I wanted to be, because I had to take a mental break from Organized Noize and that whole situation to just really work on myself. So I said, okay. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was working at a nonprofit called Youth Vibe. I don't know if you guys remember Fish Delight, the fast food chain. It was a fish place. The Famsadine family owned that, and they also had a nonprofit called Youth Vibe, in which we did after-school programs in high school. Some did old media that we taught children how to operate cameras. We did music and all kind of things. We did job training, all some fun things with high schoolers. But anyway, I just had to figure it out. So T.I. asked me to become the director of the King Foundation, and I did that with separate phone call. When he needed somebody to make his community service event. So, hey, I'll do that.
Yeah.
That's fun. So we went around to all the high schools, all Metro Atlanta. He did these talks to children, about, gun safety and staying in school. We actually started going to other places. Like, we linked with the Nation of Islam and started doing things in California. Just wonderful, wonderful things. And to help in homeless shelters. We did all kind of wonderful things together. I loved working with T.I. because T.I. was on time. Not have to lie to him. I not have to manipulate the calendar.
Hey, Dee, I gotta tell you, this season that I'm recording now, like I had hesitancy because I'm like, are people going to show up on time for their time slot to be recorded? And that's one of my biggest, every episode that I record, I'm like, please be on time, because I know how this industry is.
T.I. was always on time, and I totally appreciated that about him. Because I'm a respecter of time. That is my pet peeve as well. Like, I'm always going to be 15 minutes early. You are not going to be late.
Right.
So we would have to lie to those guys to get them to be places on time, especially Big Boy. And I'm going to put you out there, Big, because you never wanted to get up and do what we asked you to do. Never. So we had to figure out ways to make it work with you. And we honestly had to lie to you.
That's funny. So you have to tell him where to be like an hour earlier than what he's supposed to be or something.
Yeah.
He's on time.
Exactly. Like, we had to lie. If it was a 3:30 event, we told him it was 1 o'clock. He might show up at 3.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny, man. Well, the jig is up now, so now he knows. So tell me, Dee Dee, what was your experience like as a woman in this industry? It's so male dominated. I know you had good experience early days with Dungeon Family, but as you're going through and having meetings, setting meetings, tell me how that has been for you.
I had early on in my career, I had 2 men, Ray Boyd, who was the program manager at V103, and Keith Fry, who was the national president of national promotions for Capitol Records. Those 2 men, they set the stage for me, my life. I would cry so much. He used to tell me, baby, let me catch you on stage with Bobby Brown being a Roni girl, because you will lose your job. That's not what you're here for. Okay. So let me catch you in no hot pants trying to get in none of these videos, because that's not why you're here. You know, the things that were instilled upon me early really set the tone for me be seen in a different way.
To gain that respect, sounds like, to earn the respect and maintain that respect.
Yeah, so when I walked in the room, that money was entering the room, opportunities were entering the room, business was entering the room, and questions had to be answered when I walked through the door. And after I did my business, I left. Times hung around, but for the majority of the time, I left and went home and went to bed because somebody had to be up at 9 o'clock in the morning to answer these phones. It's call and get this money. And these lawyers. These lawyers didn't work till 11 or 12 o'clock at night. They worked from 9 till 5.
Right.
And it was my job to make sure that I secured the bag.
Right.
So all night. Smoking weed all night.
Not your thing.
That was not what I did. I came in, I had my briefcase, did my business, did sign their papers, the whoop-de-doo, and on to the next.
Woman about her business.
And it was rough because to earn that respect, it was something that I had to create for myself, because if not, then I would have been seen another way. And I was not going to be seen that way. So I tell any woman going into this from a business aspect, like, don't waver, don't flip-flop. Either you're in it for business or you're not. And, you know, I mean, for me, you know, guys, like, that happened, it just happened. But like, me and Ray had our relationship outside of the dungeon. When we walked into that dungeon,
it's business.
I was, it was business. I don't know you. And didn't really talk. And like, it's so funny because Enrico more than me and Ray.
Interesting. I can see how that could be the case, though.
Especially when it came to business. You know, me and Rico were an everyday thing. You know, what are we doing? You know, what do we sign? What's going on? Like, we were aligned. I'm a Virgo, Rico's a Pisces. We're on the opposite ends of the yin to my yang. Like, and I tell anybody married to all three of them cats, Rico, Pat, and Ray, because there were three different types of relationships that I had. I had to talk to Pat differently than I spoke to Rico, and half the time I just said, Ray, sign this. Because it had been vetted by Rico and Pat. You know, it was a very interesting dynamic, but I was married to the mob. You know, Rico's no longer with us. You know, I still feel his presence, and I feel as though I lost my husband. I grieve him like a widow.
And
I do. I absolutely do.
Yeah, I've met Rico once or twice, but I didn't know Rico. But even just knowing what he meant to the music and the culture was really sad.
And he meant to me as a woman, and to his sisters, and to his mother, and to any woman that he was dealing with, his children's mother. He held us high on a pedestal. He really, really did. It was like, took care of us on a personal level. When I experienced my separation from my husband, you know, my children were going through a period of trauma, you know, just adjustment. And Rico would show up, come get these kids, take them shopping. They come home with toys, clothes, chicken wings, you know, things like Uncle Rico. He just showed up. Get the kids ready. Uncle Rico on his way. And they knew Uncle Rico was coming, and they were out. You know, he took paintballing. Like, he was just that man. And
make sure people are good, it sounds like. Really cared about people. If you're in his circle, like, you're part of family, and he's got you.
Oh, man. If Rico loved you, you knew it. You felt it. You experienced it. And I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate. And I'm absolutely grateful to my soul that Rico loved me. He loved me. And I you know, say that.
I mean, his legacy.
Ain't nobody else got to love me, because Rico way loved me.
That's all that counts at the end of the day. Even my own children, as long as Rico.
Rico loved me. Y'all go.
But what that shows.
But that's how strong.
Yeah, it shows his legacy is beyond just the music. It's how he takes care of people, and like that will cascade generations on a personal level. So it's nice to hear that about Rico.
Put the family in the dungeon.
Yeah, wow.
He put the family in dungeon.
Wow. You frame it like it makes me wonder if there was no Rico, would it just be a group of young men without direction and without a glue to keep them together?
Yeah, it would be, because he was the catalyst. You know, he truly the catalyst, and it was his energy that drew everyone together.
Yeah.
Honestly, his energy alone that brought everyone together. He was the center of that universe.
Yeah. Wow. Let me ask you, tell me about Murray Media Productions. Tell me what you're doing now. Let's dig into that a little bit.
I went through a bout with cancer in 2013.
Okay.
And when I was going through cancer, shout out to Andre Benjamin, because he paid all my bills for 2 years. So we're going to put that out there and let everybody know, like, what kind of cats we really dealing with.
Family for real.
But when I was going through it, I said, man, I was something with these little yellow signs. I want to get in the film industry. I want to do that now. Like, I want to go into the film
Dee Dee,
industry.
but we have to talk about the yellow signs for people who don't know. In Atlanta, you can't drive too far without seeing a yellow sign with just a random name on it. And that's
with some letters
and
on
numbers.
it that you don't understand.
It's code words for whatever film is
arrow.
being shot. So when Dee Dee's saying the yellow signs, that's what she's talking about. All right, go ahead.
Yes, I'm talking about the crew directional signs that take you to set, that direct the cast and crew to set. That was really starting to boom in Atlanta. And, you know, I was laying in bed watching as I was healing and recovering. So a friend of mine called me. Well, a friend of mine worked at the City of Atlanta's entertainment office. Her name is LaRonda Sutton. I said, hey, LaRonda, I want to come work with y'all. And she was like, okay, come on down. Let's interview. And I didn't get the chance.
Oh, man.
I didn't get it. But LaRonda called me months later and was like, Dee Dee, I don't work there anymore. I'm starting a new business called Film City, and I would like for you to help me launch this business, and I'll teach you everything about the film industry. And I'm like, oh, well, let's do this. So that's how I got started, LaRonda. Shout you out, girl. Because we started doing film permitting, third-party film permitting for these production companies that were coming into Georgia, not really knowing the lay of the land. There's 159 counties in Georgia, and everybody thinks it's just one big county. Like, everything runs the same, and it does not. So that's how Murray Media Production Partners got started. I was a contractor for Film City, and then I became a contractor for DeKalb County, and them established their DeKalb Entertainment Commission. So for 7 years, I ran Murray Media Production Partners as a consultant. Then COVID happened, and we stopped doing movies everywhere. Like, the whole industry shut down. But the next phone call I got was from a complete stranger that I did not know. His name is Miles Henley. Let's shout him out, Big Daddy Miles. Miles Henley is a former Hell's Angel, was repping the Aryan Nation at the time, and he called me and told me he was trying to throw dirt on my name around all of Atlanta, and nobody would speak bad about me. He said, nobody would let me speak bad about you at all.
Why were you, though?
And he was like, and that let me know that I want you on my team. And I'm like, excuse me, sir? He said, yeah, I want you to coordinate my department, be my locations coordinator for my department. I'm a locations manager in the film industry, and we're about to do this movie, and I want you to be my locations coordinator. You'll be my right hand. And I need somebody I can trust. And I think I can trust you because nobody will let me say anything negative about you. And I said, okay, well, let's do it.
Wow.
Wow. So that's how I got my foot into the film industry as a crew member. So now I'm hired directly by Netflix, Sony, Miramax, whatever production for whatever movie we're working on. I get hired as regular employee. So my business kind of phased out. I use it as a furnishing company for my rental gear now, but it's really there to collect royalties, and it's a furnishing company for my rentals.
Okay.
Yeah. The last movie that I worked on was Scary Movie 6.
Yeah.
with the Wayans brothers, and it comes out in a couple of days. So check that out.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
So, and then we talked a little bit off camera about gardening. Is that the next phase of life for Dee Dee?
The next phase of life for Dee Dee is her exit strategy. I'm 60.
Okay.
I know I look 26, but I'm actually 60. And I'm ready to retire. I don't want to do too much else. Like I'm riding it out, and I strive to garden. I strive to plant. That is my passion. That is my goal in life, is to plant and collect Social Security. And
royalties.
The other part of it is that I'm also building a home in Jamaica.
Okay.
Because that is where I will be living as a retiree in a year and a half.
Wow. Okay. That'll be beautiful. Wow. Congratulations, Dee Dee.
Congratulations.
That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Well, we've come to the time of the podcast, rather, where I'm going to pull out the clarity cards. And your question is, what are your core values and how do they influence your daily decisions? What are your core values and how do they influence your daily decisions?
My core values are, number one, honesty. Tell the fucking truth. No matter how hard it is, have that conversation. No matter how uncomfortable it is. Be truthful, be honest, be loyal, and be dependable. Those are what I live by. Truthfulness, loyalty, and dependability. Be somebody that someone else can count on. Like, just show up. And don't show up for a reward or for something in return. Show up to show up. Because it matters. Our presence matters in this world. We were all put here for a reason. We all have a purpose. And if we do not fulfill our purpose, the universe is at a loss. So it is everybody's goal to figure out what their path is, what their purpose is. And your purpose is your path is the thing that I identify as what you would do for free, for fun, all day. And the music, I do it for free, for fun, all day. Film, location coordinating, I would not do that for free, for film, all day. Planting and gardening, and as an herbalist, doing herbal medications, that I would do for free and do for free all day. I'm a certified phytotherapist, and I make herbs. I make herbal medicine. And a lot of the herbs that I grow, I use in my formulas.
Okay. So tell me a phytotherapist. What is that?
Phytotherapist is someone that utilizes plants for healing, for healing therapy.
Okay.
I'm a plant healer. I'm a green witch. I'm a blender.
You're even more than a plant healer. Like the way you carry yourself, your energy, your ethics, even the way you answered this question about purpose, like you're just a healer, period. And it's very rare to find people like you in the music industry. As you know, a lot of shady people, a lot of people that don't hold their word. And this is part of the reason I wanted to have you on, because even when I met you many, many years ago, you were always real with me and you were always helpful and always had this kindness whenever I would interact with you. So I had to bring you on. Dee Dee Murray, thank you for taking time to share your stories and some of your journey today. Thank you for your contributions to the music and entertainment industry and to some of my favorite albums. What is the best way for people to follow or connect with you?
On Instagram, my handle is my absolute real name, which I love and embrace, which is Dalethian, at DALETHIAN. 9 letters, break it down 3 ways. DALETHIAN, at Dalethian. And on TikTok, my handle is DLovely1. DE-Lovely1.
Got you. Thank you so much.
That's where I am.
Yes. And to the listener, thank you for tuning in to the Jeremy Hazelwood Show. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to follow or subscribe so you're always up to date when the latest episode drops. And until next time, keep following your dreams to find your purpose.